Discussion of ARPA funds and requests for expenditures and possible uses for county improvements. So the first thing that we want to do is talk about the ARPA funds, which is the last page of this packet. Oh, Jerry done? All right. So this is what we've talked about to date. And again, none of this stuff is etched in stone. But we've got, currently we have on hand $4.65 million on deposit at the county. And we have the following draft projects and a draft division of available funds for the total $9.3 million that we're going to receive. We'll get the other $4.65 million in May of this year. So what we looked at, what we talked about was dedicating or putting $6 million in the 6-story building remodel cash fund, 1.5 million in the county commissioners road and bridges, 0.75 million in the sheriff's jail roof and patrol vehicle refresh, $500,000 in courthouse security system refresh, which would cover the siren interface that you wanted to talk about, Steve, that you had.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's in that courthouse security. There's a list of smaller projects that go in there. One of them being a badge ID door electronic access system for the courthouse and the other buildings at the courthouse, the annexes as well. The county employee COVID fund, I keep
Premium pay.
premium pay. Okay, so that's called premium pay. I'll try and remember that. And so that's $300,000, and then $250,000 to the county health department. The details on there, again, we currently have 4.65 million. Expenditures do not require excise board appropriation approval. They do get notified that the money's been divvied up and when we expend it, right? Or when we,
Well, they do the cash fund appropriation when we receive the 4.6. Now we'll set up the transfer and they just notify
Yeah.
those, yes.
okay. Unencumbered or excess funds can be transferred between the above draft project accounts. So if the 6-story building was 5.2 million instead of the 6 that we had in there, we can move the 0.8 to another account and continue to use it. So we can move money between these accounts without much issue, without an issue. All ARPA funds must be encumbered not later than December of 2024, is that right? And all ARPA funds must be expended not later than December 2026. I remembered all that from the meeting.
I'm proud.
It's amazing. Okay, so a couple of notes. Our county health department, appreciate those folks showing up, and they had what they're wanting to do is put a drive-through station that's got garage doors on both ends where people can drive through and get tested and all that stuff, so they can kind of isolate themselves and the public from each other, so they don't have people that are possibly infected with disease coming into the indoors to the county health department. So they brought a cost to us of $150 a square foot just for a metal building. I believe that had to be a finished building, because we can buy metal buildings erected for a whole lot less than that. And been looking at that on the internet. Matter of fact, I had a $20,000 bid for a 30-foot, or 20-foot by 40-foot long building that was, because a 20-foot wide building will fit on the road, you know, behind the health department. And that was like $20,000 without the slab and all that other stuff, so. Anyway, the other thing with the health department is, there was a question about premium pay, for their people, whether we needed to include them in the premium pay. And I've got an email saying that we don't, because they've already received, each employee received $500 in premium pay, so. That brings up a question on premium pay. I thought that was by the hour and how many hours they worked and all that.
They got that from the COVID funds, not from the ARPA funds. So that was a different funding mechanism that the state had, and the state paid that, so I don't have all the details.
So.
Under premium pay for ARPA, it is an hourly calculation.
So why would health department folks be excluded then? If it's a different fund and different rules?
Well, I'm assuming from what her email said that the state said no, so.
So Marvin, on the courthouse security, that's just not for, that's for several different projects.
Yeah, I mean, if we need to replace windows, it's kind of a catch-all bucket for that. What we wanted to have as a primary project in that is the electronic locks that we had talked about, you know, where our fob badges would unlock the doors and keep track of who's coming in and out and where they're going, and, you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but you mentioned Stephen had something on that as well.
Stephen asked for, and it was a small piece. I mean, what he wants is a system that will automatically take the NOAA weather alert system and transfer that to the sirens, you know, automatically turn the sirens on. Steve, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, it's called Commander. It's to update the storm sirens around the county, and then also the system that operates the storm sirens. Whenever I got the last quote on it, I think it was around $50,000 to update it all.
So, but the hazard mitigation plan, that's kind of a grant system.
So yeah,
That
that
could
would
be-
definitely follow under the hazard mitigation plan, updating the storm sirens and the computer and stuff on that. And so how that works is the county has to pay for the project
Right.
up front, and then we would eventually get reimbursed for it.
I guess that was gonna be my question. Do we need to plug in like a little bit of money so we can fund the hazard mitigation grants and then get reimbursed? Would this cover some of that?
There's a question with the ARPA being used in that manner,
Okay.
because of the way the reimbursements
Right.
sometimes work. I've actually submitted those questions and are waiting for answers.
For the auditors?
Yes, which I think has been filtered up to the feds because it's ultimately their decision.
I mean, that was just thinking outside the box.
Sure.
If we need to put something back to fund the hazard mitigation, then get reimbursed on it, then we could put the money back where.
Well, I think, again, I think there's gonna be some money we're gonna be able to move around and shuffle, and
Right.
we can always create a new cash account if we need to do that with, and, or we can leave it there and use it as a sub-bullet of.
So I think what would happen, just to try to simplify it, we would have an M&O account in this fund that would take care of that, or the new doors on the courthouse, or it would be an M&O expense for whatever was approved from them, so.
Sounds good.
Then the other thing, the county health department is, they're going back and looking at the building that they talked about and they're gonna get some more details to us on what kind of a bid they got from who and that sort of stuff. They didn't have a lot of the details. But I honestly believe that we can put them a very nice, addition to their current building, in place using the road behind the health department. It would probably cause us to block that to, you know, civilian traffic, until they opened up their doors, you know, to have people go through. But I think we can do that for under $100,000, but, they've got some other, requests, to be able to put new refrigerator freezers in for, you know, the different, inoculants that they have. Some of them have to be kept very cold, and so they're just kind of out of space over there for that kind of stuff right now, as far as storage goes. So they'll be bringing us back some more details on how to do that. But I'm absolutely positive that $250,000 will cover anything and everything that, you know, they would ever want to do over there. Any other discussions